Terrorists kill 2, abduct 18 in fresh Kaduna attack. Binance CEO alleges Nigeria sets dangerous precedents by detaining employee. 3 injured as rainstorm destroys over 200 houses in Plateau. And on the foreign scene, 5 dead, 49 missing after building collapsed in South Africa. Hello, welcome to Trust News Update. My name is Lilian Ogazi. Now to the news in details. Residents of 10 communities in Giwa local government area of Kaduna State have fled their homes due to the activities of bandits in the area. It was learned that many of those affected, particularly women and children, trekked long distances to seek refuge in the main town of Giwa. Umar Awal Bijimi, the representative of Giwa West constituency in the Kaduna State House of Assembly, the exodus began after the redeployment of a dedicated and effective soldier, Sergeant Usman Hamisu Bogobiri, who played a crucial role in combating the banditry plaguing the area. He said the absence of Sergeant Bagobiri has emboldened the criminals linked to an alarming rise in their heinous activities and subsequent displacement of villagers. Bijimi said the affected villages include Gogi, Angwabako, Mag Tudumburuku, Bataru, Kayawa, and Yuna. Samuel Arwan, the Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, said relevant stakeholders, including the chairman of Giwa local government, Abubakar Shehu Giwa, and local leaders, have been engaged in discussions with the ministry regarding security concerns. He affirmed that the matter has been escalated to appropriate authorities, adding that concerted efforts are underway to enhance intelligence gathering and bolster security measures in the affected communities. Meanwhile, bandits in the early hours of Tuesday stormed Gusau, the Zamfara state capital, and kidnapped the manager of Taj Bank, Gusau, Manta Kaura, at his residence. A source close to the manager said the bandits invaded the house at Gidandari bypass around 12 a.m. on Tuesday and whisked him away to an unknown destination. The spokesperson of the Zamfara State Police Command, Yazid Abubakar, said the team of police tactical operatives from the state command is currently on the trail of the kidnappers with the view of rescuing him unhurt. One person has been killed in Ogun State as gunmen kidnapped 7 travelers on the Shagamu-Ijebode Expressway. The gunmen, numbering about 7 and armed with AK-47 rifles, struck around Ilesan Surplus Industry and Iperu Junction axis of the expressway. Though the incident happened on Sunday, the police authorities confirmed the death of a passenger on Tuesday. According to the police public relations officer in Ondo State, Omolola Odutola, the incident was recorded as a case of armed robbery, murder, and kidnapping. A viral audio from one of the victims of the tragic incident, who was a driver heading to Lagos, detailed how the hoodlums stopped the vehicles with sporadic shooting and later marched them into the bushes. Still on insecurity, the Niger Armed Forces have apprehended a notorious Nigerian Bandit Kingpin known as Kachala Maidaji near the border town of Ileja, Niger. According to Zagazola Makama, a security analyst and counterinsurgency expert, Kachala Maidaji has left a trail of terror and devastation across northeastern Nigeria over the past decade. The bandit leader was said to be particularly active in the Ilela region, terrorizing villages in the surrounding areas. Kachala Maidaji was captured by the Nigerian forces as he attempted to rustle livestock across the Nigeria-Niger border. On Sunday, no fewer than 11 persons reportedly died and 5 injured when 2 vehicles drove over suspected bandits' landmines in Gamboru, Ngala, and Dikwa local government areas of Borno State. The Commissioner of Police in the FCT, Bennett Igwe, has commenced the deployment of motorcycles and personnel across the rural areas in the Federal Capital Territory to aid security response operations in the effort against banditry. This followed the donation of the motorcycles to the command by the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike as part of his continuous support to the security and safety of residents, which he believes should not be limited to the metropolis, but to remote and rural communities in the nation's capital where bandits and kidnappers have recently turned to hideout. A statement from the FCT Command's Public Relations Officer, Josephine Ade, said the deployment of the motorcycles was made to aid swift operational response to communities and areas where vehicles may not easily access or navigate when the need arises. While thanking the minister for the gesture, the commissioner promised to effectively utilize them towards ensuring the safety and security of the residents of FCT. He also urged residents to be vigilant and take advantage of the police emergency lines in reporting suspicious activities for prompt action. Operatives of the anti-piracy unit of the Zone 2 Police Command Onikan Lagos have arrested one Tayo Shikaruddin over alleged certificate forging. Shikaruddin, 37, who is the MD of Skylink Medical Center situated at Akko Okuta Block Industry behind Uncle Bayo's School, Elekpe, Ikorodu, was arrested with two suspected forged certificates of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, and the Nigerian Medical and Dental Council. A statement by the Zonal Police Public Relations Officer, Zone 2 Command Headquarters, Onikan, Lagos, SP Ayuba Umar, said the police also recovered immovable hospital equipment while the hospital complex has been sealed pending the outcome of investigation. Umar noted that the suspect confessed to electronic production of the certificate as he neither obtained any degree from the university nor certificate from the medical council, as his real qualification is SSCE. According to the police, part of the suspect's confession is that he has a total of 6 staff, 2 of whom are trained nurses while 4 are amateurs. According to him, he worked as nursing assistant at Fabo Medical Center, Majidu area of Lagos, before establishing his own hospital, adding that he has successfully carried out 2 cesarean section and 1 appendicitis surgery during his 3 years of unlawful practice as a medical practitioner. Umar said investigation revealed that the suspect has been operating the hospital without a qualified certificate or certified medical practitioner. The Chief Executive Officer of Binance, Richard Teng, has described the detention of its employee, Tigran Gembaryan, by the Nigerian government as unjust, saying it was a dangerous precedent for international businesses. Teng also said despite Binance's repeated efforts at constructive engagement and cooperation with Nigerian authorities, Gembaryan remains in detention for spurious reasons. Binance CEO, in a statement on Tuesday, said to invite a company's mid-level employees for cooperative policy meeting only to detain them has set a dangerous new precedent for all companies worldwide. He said the regrettable turn of events contradicts the spirit of cooperation and transparency that Binance has consistently demonstrated in its interactions with regulatory authorities. On February 26, Gembaryan and his colleague Nadeem Anjarwalla were arrested in connection with the criminal investigation into Binance activities in Nigeria when they arrived the country and while escaped custody, while Gembaryan continues to remain in detention at the Kuje Correctional Center pending the determination of his bail application. The Nigerian government blamed Binance for the naira depreciation, accusing it of fixing exchange rate prices on its own platform, the biggest crypto exchange globally. The House of Representatives on Tuesday issued a 14-day ultimatum to the nation's cement manufacturers to appear before it or face legislative sanctions. The chairman House Committee on Solid Minerals, Gaza Jonathan, and the co-chairman of the Committee on Commerce, Industry and Special Duties issued the ultimatum at a joint investigative hearing on the arbitrary increase in the price of cement in Nigeria. The committee also summoned to appear before it on May 21st the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, over the matter. Jonathan, who expressed displeasure over the non-appearance of critical stakeholders, said there is no court injunction restraining the committees from carrying out its constitutional mandates. Earlier speaking, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, who was represented by his deputy Benjamin Kalu, decried the housing deficit in the country while reaffirming that the House is actively working to establish appropriate legislation that would promote and encourage industrialization as well as support small and medium enterprises.
In January, one of the companies had actually said they were going to sell cement for 3,500 naira a bag. One of the companies. Why this arbitrary increase from 4,500 to as much as 13 to 15,000, and right now is stabilizing at about 10,000 to 12,000? It is still too high. And who are those at the short end of the stick? Who are those suffering? It is you and I. So please, we are taking this time so that we can actually emphasize and underpin the importance of this investigation to the people of Nigeria.
As you all know, it is self-evident that we have a huge housing deficit presently in Nigeria. According to a study by researchers of the African Development Bank, the Housing Market Dynamics in Africa book, there is a housing deficit of up to 16.9 million units.
Now moving over to Bayelsa, where the Yenagoa Local Government Council has sworn in 15 councillors of the 8th Yenagoa Legislative Assembly on Monday. The inauguration, which took place at the hallowed chambers of the Council Secretariat, was conducted by Clerk of the House, Kenneth Manu. Trust TV's Friday Ebimobowe Peter has more in this report.
The chairman of Yenagoa Local Government Council, Honorable Buloftiseye Ndoware, advised the councillors to take their legislative businesses seriously, as it is a task that requires more capacity building, while working closely with the executive arm of government for smooth running of the council.
The inauguration of the Legislative Council is a constitutional responsibility as established by law, Section 12, Sub 2 of the Bayelsa State Local Government Law provides for the chairman to make a proclamation for the inauguration, having been sworn in for the inauguration of the legislative arm. And that's exactly what has been done today. The councillors should brace up. The legislative business is a serious business. A lot of reading, research has to be done. And so the councillors should be up and doing. Councillors should cooperate with the executive arm of government. We are aware that there is separation of powers. However, those powers are interlinked. And so the legislature should cooperate with the executive arm of government to ensure that there is harmony and smooth running of the council. That at the end of the day, Yenagoa people will be happy that at this time, we had this set of people to manage the affairs of Yenagoa, and they have done their little best.
Honorable Dixon Gift, councillor representing Ward 7, who emerged as leader of the House while describing the chairman as a good leader, promised to work with other councillors who are mostly youth from the 3 constituencies that makes up the LGA and partner with the mayor to attract the needed development to the area.
We work with the chairman. There will be no problem, there will be no chaos. The chairman is a good man. And the house, we have no issues. We are all young councillors, happy to be in this great house. We work with the chairman accordingly to the rules and regulations of the council.
Honorable Nathan Raphael, councillor representing Ward 15, appreciated the executive governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Doyoduri, Senator Lawrence Orichabo, deputy governor, for giving him this rare privilege to serve his people.
By the grace of God, I will reach out to every person in my ward to ensure that the prosperity get to every families in Ward 15. I want to appreciate our miracle governor, His Excellency Senator Doyoduri. In this our tenure, there must be change. By the grace of God, we will change the environment of Yenagoa Local Government Council.
They all promise to work closely with government at all levels to bring dividends of democracy to the people. From Yenagoa, Friday Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV News, Yenagoa.
Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has issued a July 7, 2024 deadline for point-of-sale operators to complete registration with the Corporate Affairs Commission. This was revealed during a meeting between fintechs and the Registrar General of the CAC, Hussaini Magaji, in Abuja on Tuesday. Speaking at the event, the CAC boss said the 2-month timeline to register their agents, merchants and individuals with the commission was in line with legal requirements and the directive of the Central Bank of Nigeria. He said the measure aims at safeguarding the businesses of fintech customers and strengthening the economy. He stressed the action was equally backed by Section 863, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA 2020, and the 2013 CBN Guidelines on Agent Banking. Several speakers from the fintech industry pledged to collaborate with the Commission to ensure hit-free implementation of the directive. The representative of OPay, Mumba, PalmPay Limited, Paystack, Fair Money Microfinance Bank, MoneyPoint and TZPay, present at the event, later signed up for a document to support the project. This is Trust News coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, reactions trail announcement of power transmission splits. More news when we return Tuesday. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is news updates on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our headlines again. Terrorists kill 2, abduct 18 in fresh Kaduna attack. Binance CEO alleges Nigeria set dangerous precedent by detaining employee. Now moving on. The Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, Pesan Anambra chapter, said it has suspended the indefinite strike he embarked upon on March 28. The chairman of the association, Abraham Okoye, said on Tuesday in Oka that the decision was reached after the government had set in motion measures to address their demands. Okoye said as part of the measures to address issues of unpaid peculiar allowances of the staff of the State House of Assembly, according to Okoye, if nothing was done by the end of a 2-month timeline, PASAN will recommence the strike. The indefinite strike was due to non-implementation of full legislative financial autonomy and non-payment of the allowances that had been recurring in the state budget since 2019. The association was also protesting the non-constitution of the State Legislative Service Commission as provided by the Anambra Legislative Service Commission Law 2022. No fewer than 200 houses, including a healthcare center, classroom, businesses, premises, as well as poultry farms, were destroyed by a rainstorm that blew off rooftop in the Mango district of Bassa, local government area of Plateau State. Though no one died in the early Monday downpour, 3 persons who were injured are receiving treatment while several others are being rendered homeless. But a social-cultural group in the district, the Mango Youth Development Association, said some of the affected persons have found refuge in neighborhood residencies within the area. In a statement, the group's spokesperson Nuhu Unga appealed for quick intervention from the National Emergency Management Agency and the state government, especially to those who have lost valuables in the disaster. The Transition Implementation Committee chairman of the local government area, Fidelis Adara, said appropriate steps are being taken by the local authorities towards receiving intervention from the State Emergency Management Agency and NEMA for the affected victims. The Nigerian Electricity and Regulatory Commission's decision to split TCN into 2 entities, withdrawing one operating license, is raising questions about electricity availability, grid stability, and integration of independent power producers. This move reflects ongoing efforts to address challenges within Nigeria's power sector. Noel Sampson in this report takes a look at the implication of this restructuring.
The newly established Nigerian Independent System Operator of Nigeria Limited will assume direct responsibility for the national grid and associated market contracts managed from Osogbo. According to AADC Board Director, Engineer Dr. Abubakar Atiku Tambwa, said this strategic shift is a positive step forward and is expected to have an immediate impact.
This particular move will have significant impact on the delivery of power, particularly on the reliability and stability of the grid. We have all witnessed over the past years how the grid has been collapsing, possibly due to lack of adequate and measures to address it. So I believe with this split, the independent system operator will be fully charged and be enhanced to carry out such function of maintaining the stability of the grid.
According to other stakeholders, the Nigerian Independent System Operator of Nigeria Limited should be afforded a 1-year grace period before assessing their ability to resolve the frequent grid collapses and other related issues.
When it comes to electricity consumers and affecting their supply, first off, the Nigerian power supply system is weak right now. And why is it weak? It's because there is inadequate revenue and there is infrastructural deficit. So now that the NISO is separate from the Transmission Company of Nigeria, let us wait at least a year and see what the impact is. I wouldn't want us to just jump the gun and say, oh, this is what the reality is going to look like, because now we have the Electricity Act, which has given power to states to generate, transmit, and distribute power.
The Nigerian government's initiative to onboard the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, into 2 distinct entities is sparking optimism for a more effective and dependable national grid. This move holds promise of improved access to electricity for the populace. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now moving over to the foreign scene, rescue teams walked through the night searching for dozens of construction workers buried for more than 12 hours under the rubble of concrete after a multi-story apartment complex that was being built collapsed in a coastal city in South Africa. Authorities said early Tuesday the death toll had risen to 5, while 49 workers remained buried in the mangled wreckage of the building, which collapsed on Monday afternoon. Authorities said a further 21 workers had been rescued from the rubble and taken to various hospitals, with at least 11 of them suffering injuries. The collapse happened in the city of George, about 400 kilometers east of Cape Town on South Africa's coast. More than 100 emergency personnel and other responders were on the scene, using sniffer dogs to try to locate workers, some of whom were trapped under huge slabs of concrete that fell on them when the 5-story building came down. Rescuers made contact with 11 workers trapped in the rubble and were hopeful of bringing them out, said Colin Denia, the Chief Director of the Provincial Western Cape Disaster Management and Fire and Rescue Services. Meanwhile, 2 people were killed and 21 others injured in a stabbing incident at Shanggang Hospital in southwestern China. The perpetrator, a man from a nearby village, is under investigation. The wounded are receiving treatment in the hospital. China, where firearm ownership is strictly prohibited, has experienced several knife attacks in recent years. Last year, August, in Yunnan, 2 people were killed and several others injured in a similar incident involving a mentally ill man. And in another incident, 6 people were killed and 1 injured in the kindergarten stabbing at Guangdong province. In 2022, 3 people were killed and 6 wounded in a knife attack at a kindergarten in Jiangxi province. And in sports, the Nationwide League One Secretariat has received the official match report on the assault on match officials by players and officials of Ogbomoso FC on Monday. According to findings, the match was smooth and no incidents that warranted the assault on the match officials by players and officials of the Ogbomoso United FC Oyo State. It further stated that the Nationwide League One rules and regulation Article 4.7 on refusal to continue to play a match state intimidation or harassment of match officials by club supporters, fans or club officials before, during and after the match are prohibited. As such, offenders shall be punished and the team officials sanctioned. Based on the NLO rules, the regulation article, some players and officials of Ogbomoso are hereby suspended from all football matches. Those suspended are players Ridwan Kalmadin and Iberi Success, Club GM Shitu Ismail Adegoke and Media Officer Atoyebi Adetunji. With that, we've come to the end of News Update here on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all our social media platforms for more news, programs, and documentaries. My name is Lilian Ogazi. Thanks for watching and bye for now.